Hey guys! Today I'm going to take you guys with me on a 24-hour Studio Ghibli food challenge. It's a challenge where you only make and eat Studio Ghibli foods for an entire day. I also included a surprise in the video as well. So without further ado, let's get started. For breakfast, I decided to make two things from two different movies. One from Kiki's Delivery Service and one from Princess Mononoke. For Kiki's Delivery Service, I decided to make the pancake, half the sausage, and the 2 cherry tomatoes. So for this, I simply made a typical pancake mix and then added it to a pan of heated oil, flipped over the pancake when it was ready, and then I folded it in half to match the picture, even though I would never do this to a pancake. But it was cute. It kind of reminded me of like an omelet. And then I made sure to serve it with some butter. I never thought I could make it as realistic as this picture, but I actually did pretty good, I think. The breakfast that Kiki had was really delicious, but I still had to make the rice porridge. So to make the rice porridge, I added 3 cups of water to 1 cup of rice. Let that sit on high heat while stirring. And then I added the dried flaky miso paste packet and then also a tablespoon of soy sauce. After letting it simmer on high heat for about 5 to 6 minutes, I turned off the heat, let it soak for about 2 minutes, and then I left it to chill for a little bit until it was warm. And then I served it into these really cute red bowls. Then I added these really cute long cut green onions. I know this is served in the evening time in the movie, but I do know that rice porridge is something that can be served anytime during the day if someone's sick or if someone just really wants a nice warm meal. I really liked how it turned out. My sister gave it the thumbs up. She said it was pretty good. It started to get really hot before noon, so I decided to have a drink break, and through the inspiration of Whisper of the Heart, I decided to go with oolong tea. I poured 2 glasses of the oolong tea, one for my sister and one for myself. It was really refreshing, and I hadn't had oolong tea in a while, so it was really nice. For lunch, I decided to grab some inspiration from Porco Rosso and do a classic Italian spaghetti. So I made my spaghetti pasta and cooked it well, and then I made my sauce, heating up a pan of hot oil, adding onions, and then after about a few minutes I added some garlic. I let that sit for a bit, mixed it around, and then I added a can of crushed tomatoes. I let that simmer for about 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, I decided to give it another good stir. Added the bay leaves. I also added some Italian seasoning. Of course that wasn't enough, so I added more. And then I also added some black pepper. You can't really see it in this part. After adding a little bit more pepper, I decided to add about 3 spoonfuls of the previously cooked pasta water into the sauce just to make it a little bit more thin, and then I added some more Italian seasoning and then a little bit of sugar. Then I added about a handful of fresh basil. I turned off the heat and then I let it simmer for a little bit and decided to start on my plating. So I added my pasta down. And then I added the tomato sauce when it was finally ready, which was probably about after 3 minutes of it simmering. I decided to add a fresh piece of basil and pour myself a glass of wine. Just kidding, it's not wine, it's cranberry juice, but that's the closest thing I can get to the actual movie. Once again, I am very proud of myself for how close I actually got to getting it to look like the movie. Usually it's really hard to get real food to look like anime food or Studio Ghibli food, but I thought it was pretty good. It also tasted really good too. I had a really good lunch today. So I wanted to take a snack break, but I failed. Why? Because I originally wanted to do this red bean bun from Spirited Away, but because I am an idiot, I forgot to soak the red beans overnight, or at least for 8 hours in water. So they weren't soaked and I had to go to dinner. Which, by the way, wasn't half bad. I decided to go with the vegetable stew in Castle in the Sky. I've never made vegetable stew before, so my first time making it, I actually thought it was really good. So I decided to heat up a pan full of oil, and then I added about 1 full yellow onion chopped up, and then I added about 1 full potato and 1 big sized carrot that was peeled. After that, I gave it a little swirl, and then I added about a handful of snow peas and chopped shiitake mushrooms, which was about 3 of them. And then after giving that a little swirl, I added 32 ounces of vegetable broth and let that simmer for a little bit. For the recipe that I followed, it required me to have a final flavoring which had some sake in it, so it was actually my first time cooking with sake, and I think it really changes the flavor of the soup, which is why it tasted so good. Probably. But either way, it was finally done to serve after about 10 minutes of simmering after adding the flavor, and here's what it looked like at the end. The soup was honestly so good and so filling, even though it was basically just vegetable broth and good flavoring with some vegetables. I was filled for a long time. I don't know if it compares to what was cooked in Castle in the Sky, but I thought the real life version was actually really good and probably came really close to what they were imagining when they made the movie. Finally, for dessert, I decided to do something from Kiki's Delivery Service, the famous chocolate birthday cake. I was so excited to make this cake because I honestly really wanted to have one of these cakes ever since I saw the movie. So in order to do this, I decided to prep ahead of time. I made the cakes a day prior, and then I did the toppings and the frosting today. But yes, this was definitely a challenge because I am not a baker. I don't like to measure fully. I like to just toss things in a pan and see what happens if the flavors taste good together. But for baking this cake, I definitely made sure to try my hardest. I know there's probably a lot of bakers out there that are probably going to kill me for the techniques I use to spread the frosting with a spoon or put the second layer on. But I did try my best. And then I also told you guys that there would be a surprise in the video, so I'll tell you guys about that right now. So the surprise is everything that is seen in this video for this challenge is also vegan, meaning that there is no eggs, there is no meat, there is no byproduct of any kind of animal, there's no nothing. So yes, the sausage you saw, the milk, the butter on the pancake, everything was vegan. It was a vegan substitute. And yeah, I hope that really surprises you guys. But here is the cake that I ended up doing. It was really hard to do actually because the fondant I wanted to use for the topping was a little bit more buttery because I did try to make it vegan, so it was a bit difficult. Regardless of everything being vegan, everything was still super delicious, and I'm so happy that I made it to the end of the challenge really after eating this cake, which by the way was absolutely amazing. I have made chocolate cakes before, but none of them turned out just as good as this one. After I shared this with my family, the cake was probably gone within 5 minutes. Probably also because it was raining outside, which kind of gives everyone in the house a feeling of just laziness, I guess, and let's all eat cake and dinner together. After taking a shower, I decided to have a nice drink break again, and I decided to go with milk and honey inspired by Ponyo. And because this is vegan, yes, I did use soy milk instead of real milk, which by the way does not taste all that bad. I added some honey and I stirred it around a little bit to get the honey everywhere, and I heated it in the microwave because I was way too tired to cook anymore at this point. But this is honestly so delicious. And that concludes the challenge. Thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I hope I can do a part 2 for this. I'd like to do more movies. Till next time then. Bye!